Hello, my name is Elvis Saavedra, and the theme I'll be talking about today will be psychological safety in a virtual workplace environment. Did you know that research by Workplace Options shows that 93% of business leaders worldwide agree that psychological safety directly impacts business performance? Seeing as there's an upward trend of remote jobs, understanding this theme can help positively affect things like creativity and employee retention, and therefore help reach organizational goals. So, what is psychological safety? According to Michigan State University, psychological safety is a shared sentiment where employees are comfortable being themselves and not afraid to express any ideas or concerns in their workplace. This is not an exclusive feeling to in person workers, meaning that it also applies to employees who work from home. A main cause for decreased psychological safety would be a lack of face to face interactions. Um, Body language and facial expressions are represented differently virtually than they are in person. So, this can lead to misunderstandings and doubt within employees, which will then lead to resistance in speaking out. So, who does this affect? It affects both workers and the organization. According to the American Psychological Association, decreased psychological safety can stunt the growth of an employee and ultimately the organization. Decreased psychological safety has caused billions of dollars in productivity loss in organizations. The next two slides will talk about the potential effects of decreased psychological safety in a virtual workplace environment. A lack of psychological safety will negatively affect employees' retention as it causes burnout and low morale, which will then lead to increased employee turnover. Businesses will end up incurring the expensive cost of hiring and training new employees, and then it will also be viewed negatively by the public. Why the need to address? Well, according to Insight News, room employees who feel like they can speak up has led to a 27% reduction of turnover. So this leads to decreased cost of hiring and training. Decreased psychological safety also causes decreased innovation in the workers. Ideas that can benefit organizations are being held back. Research shows that companies, even those that were once considered household names, um, went bankrupt when they neglected innovation. So, why should organizations address this? Well, prioritizing psychological safety can lead to things like new revenue streams and more market share. If a business has most of their workers working remotely, they are already limiting potential creativity by not addressing the issue. As a result, it can lead to no growth and a loss of market to their competitors. Now we'll talk about the human research management functions that this theme impacts. The first function will be recruitment. Our textbook states that the recruitment process incurs heavy costs if done for too long. So potential candidates will overlook organizations if they hear that remote employees are overlooked and therefore slow down the process of hiring. Because of this, businesses should want to address how management reaches out and collaborates with work from home employees. This will let recruiters have a selling point for potential talent by letting them know of the ways that the company hears and values companies' ideas. The second function will be performance appraisal. Work from home employees are hard to assess as there's less communication. Managers would benefit from implementing an appraisal process that is more objective, like the management by objective methods. This ensures no bias or subjectivity and ensures that employees receive proper feedback in order to improve. The last would be learning and development. Developing employees will help them feel included and decrease turnover, which will increase their non technical skills. Uh, for managers, they will benefit from both training and development functions. Managers educated on this theme can help the organization become more productive and increase psychological safety. Now we'll be discussing the potential solutions organizations can use to help combat this issue. The first solution would be using different and flexible communication methods. Um, an example of this tool would be Microsoft Teams. The use of a tool with this flexibility builds trust, allows for personal connections, and removes misunderstandings, um, and as a result, increases psychological safety. According to interviewed employees, uh, some were not comfortable when they were expected to have a camera on, so making sure that there are various forms of communications scheduled by management while having flexibility with how they are asked to attend will increase psychological safety. The second solution would be making sure employee assistance programs were accessible. EAPs were offer support to employees with issues inside and outside of work. Employee assistance programs have shown to improve mental health, which then correlates to an increase in psychological safety. Most companies have programs like these already in place, but virtual employees are generally isolated and in the dark when it comes to these programs, as there is no outreach telling them about it. So, making them more accessible will increase job performance and reduce the burnout and absenteeism caused by decreased psychological safety. In order for organizations to reap these benefits, employers need to reach out to educate their workers about them. This research was conducted with the goal of emphasizing the importance of psychological safety in a virtual workplace. With virtual workplaces on the rise, organizations are forced to become proactive with tackling these issues. Ultimately, tackling this issue using the solutions method will improve organization productivity, employee retention, and creativity.